all of that is not about us whatsoever. We are just the tools in God's hands, but it's about Him. It's about the Lord. There's no better example this week, so I believe, especially on this occasion of Lord's Novena. By the way, we have our Novena candle in the church, which reminds us about the light Our Lady brings into the mystery of faith in our lives. But also Saint Bernadette, who of all the people of her times was at least eligible to perform the work she did. She did so, though, because she relied solely on God's grace and the guidance of Our Lady. And because of that, because of her total entrust in God and her life, wonderful, marvelous things had happened. Yes. Hello friends, welcome to the Social Oblate on this fifth Sunday in Ordinary Time. As you see, it's quite unusual. This time I welcome you in our parish church in Inchicore in Dublin, together with the Novena candle, because we celebrate the Novena of preparation before Our Lady of Lourdes, which occurs on the 11th of February. And that's why here we gather every morning and every evening on our community prayer together with the people, that Our Lady may guide us. I pray and I wish that also Our Lady may be this Sunday and the days to come till the next one, the sixth Sunday in Ordinary Time, this inspiration and a guide of following the Lord's footsteps. On this fifth Sunday of the Church's liturgical year, we have a very peculiar readings as well as the Gospel with many characters who each of them in their own way bring us a lot of example and inspiration of something particular in our spiritual life. We hear today as the first reading, a reading taken from the book of Job, the man touched with a terrible disease and with a great loss of his beloved ones, all of his possessions. And in the Gospel we hear about Peter's mother-in-law suffering from a terrible disease herself. Mother of Peter being touched by a terrible situation, a fever, which didn't allow her to leave her bed. Today, on the Sunday Gospel, we hear that being touched by Jesus, touched by the Lord, Simon's mother-in-law was freed from her infirmity because Peter and his cousins told Jesus about the situation. When the fever left her, she started serving the Lord. On the other hand, we have Job, who, as a sort of prayer, makes these words being heard. Lying in bed, I wonder, when will be day? Risen, I think, how slowly evening comes. Restlessly, I fret till twilight falls. I think on both hands, like Job's terrible situation and his prayer of lowliness, really, desolation even, as well as Peter's mother-in-law being in a terrible situation herself, yet being touched by the grace of God, are a great example of sometimes how we can feel in our lives. Because many people around us are talking how to be good, how to be great, how to be this wonderful Christian being, being an example for others, how to behave, how to speak, how to do. And yet sometimes the irony we find is that we don't feel it. We don't find the strength within ourselves. And my question, which I want to put in front of you and me this Sunday, is what to do, where to find that inspiration, that guidance, that strength to actually feel that way, that we do have this matter to make an input in other people's lives. Well, with another great example comes the Lord himself, Jesus, in today's gospel. We hear that after performing many of those miracles and helps, and even driving out the devils from the possessed people, Jesus, in the morning, long before dawn, got up and left the house and went off to a lonely place and prayed there. There is no way, no possibility that we can become that Christian inspiration, indeed becoming a guide for those searching for help, if in the middle of all of our worries and busyness, we don't find this time of spending it with the Lord, going as our Lord did, early in the morning to a lonely place to pray for him by himself to God in heaven. Well, sometimes it doesn't have to be necessarily an early morning, but sometimes any sort of lonely time during the day will do. I remember Bishop Barron once talking about there are so many possibilities. Even your car can become that place of your prayerful moment, if you can and if you want to make it one. And finally, when Jesus leaves that moment of prayer, he is able to give that witness to those apostles, disciples, people who are with him. That is why I came. That is why I came for. Meaningly, to help, to serve. That's also what St. Paul says in today's second reading. So though I am not a slave of any, I have made myself the slave of everyone, so as to win as many as I could. What I'm trying to really say when we look at those examples of Job and Peter's mother-in-law being tormented by difficult situations is that we change our perspective. That can sometimes fix everything. We change our perspective from relying solely on ourselves to actually understanding and realizing that all of that is not about us whatsoever. We are just the tools in God's hands, but it's about Him. It's about the Lord. There's no better example this week, so I believe, especially on this occasion of Lord's Novena. By the way, we have our Novena candle in the church, which reminds us about the light Our Lady brings into the mystery of faith in our lives. But also Saint Bernadette, who of all the people of her times was at least eligible to perform the work she did. She did so, though, because she relied solely on God's grace and the guidance of Our Lady. And because of that, because of her total entrust in God in her life, wonderful, marvelous things had happened. Yet that can happen in our lives as well. If we put all our trust in the Lord, if we change our perspective from worrying too much about ourselves, constantly seeking and worrying, I am not enough, I'm not perfect, therefore I can't do this and do that, then guess what? We'll never be perfect. And yet, if we are trying, and if we change the perspective of being the leader and making Him the Lord, making Him the leader of our lives, then indeed wonderful things can happen. Then indeed not only Job Peter's mother-in-law finds hope and cure, but something way more important happens. Other people find that light, that strength through our presence. May God bless you in this work to do. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my Sunday sermon, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and to share it with others. God bless you.